Hey guys, how we doing? Jasvinder here with another podcast.
Walked around this empty town.
So that was Cascade with Promise. It's a good song. It's a good album. It's the best song on the album. So guys, here we are with another episode of The Mindset Hacker. And I am your host, the Mindset Hacker himself. Jasvinder, Jazz for short. So our topic for today, I think you're going to like this a lot. This is called Understanding the Yin Yang Binary. I was originally starting this talk just to be about binaries in general. How to simplify without being simplistic. How to keep things simple without being simple-minded. How to pare things down. Quite literally, pare them down. How to reduce things to binaries without glossing over the very important, not to reference a bad movie that I haven't seen in the first place, I'm still calling it bad, but not to reference the 50 Shades of Grey in everything. To keep things honest, but to keep things simple. So, not an easy task, but it's something we've got to do because you can be paralyzed by the complexity of life. Tony Robbins said, and I agree, that complexity is the enemy of execution. I'll repeat that. Complexity is the enemy of execution. Well, execution is everything. Got to get things done. Got to take action. Got to do what you want to do the way it needs to be done at the right time, in the right way. And for that, you need simplicity. You need simplicity with that tinge of total honesty. There's no point reducing things to a level that is just not correct anymore, just to make your life easier. Then you're an alternative facts kind of guy. Then you're, a tax-paying resident of Trumpistan. We don't want that for you. Okay? It's not happening on me, not on my watch. So let's just get into it. A yin-yang symbol, this comes from Taoism. And in the process of explaining this, I promise you I will not begin a sentence with Confucius says, and I will not end a sentence with calling you a young grasshopper, unless I'm doing it facetiously. But that's my promise. No pretentiousness, no sanctimony, no faux wisdom. Just realness. That's my promise to you. So the idea of the yin-yang binary is that everything has a drop of its opposite put in it to make it useful. What do I mean by that? Think of the yin-yang symbol. You've got the white half and the black half, the dark and the light. Well, if you know what that symbol looks like, and it's going to be on the thumbnail for the podcast anyway, so you can't avoid it. If you're listening to this, you're already looking at the symbol. The light side has that one drop of darkness in it. The darkness has that one drop of light in it. And that is the most accurate representation of how to live. So I'm going to explain that through a series of examples. I'm going to start with the binary of giving and receiving. Now, for some people, giving is what's difficult. And for others, what's receiving? Receiving is what's difficult. So why is there a difficulty? If you're identified with service, with giving, with loving, with nurturing, and I talked about this in not the last podcast, but this video blog that I did, this vlog that I did on a sample numerology reading, that when you're a giver, you find it very difficult to receive, that you find it very selfish, to do good things for yourself, to receive compliments, to receive gifts, to receive other people's time being spent on you because you're the one who wants to give. Well, maybe you're also somebody who has a really hard time with giving as well, that you're just take, and you don't know how to let go and give. So I'm going to just dive right into that to explain how this construct works. Think of giving as receiving, and think of receiving as giving, but a little bit, you see. Because the yin-yang symbol, it's got mostly light on one side with a little bit of dark, and then mostly dark on the other side with a little bit of light. So there's a drop of giving in receiving. What do I mean by that? When I receive from another person, I am giving them the opportunity to be generous. I'm doing it actively. People resist receiving generosity from others because they think it's too passive. They think they're taking advantage of the other person in some way. They think they're not worth it. They don't want to be a taker. They don't want to be selfish. Realize that you are giving even as you're receiving. That when you receive something, you have given someone else the right and the opportunity to give to you. So you're still being a giver, but only a little bit. That's the drop of giving in receiving. What do I receive by giving? What I receive by giving is that one drop of receiving that's in giving is that I get to receive the satisfaction. I get to receive the satisfaction of being generous. I get to receive the satisfaction of being a giving person, no matter how my gift is received. But then there's also the way the gift is received. If it's received graciously and with love and with appreciation by that person, I receive that from them. I get that from them by giving. And it's okay to do things for selfish reasons. What's not okay is to do things at the expense of another person. But if I give because I love the way it feels, and I'm doing it mostly so I can get that feeling, nothing wrong with that. Where it gets wrong and misguided is when you are giving, well, without any awareness of what is needed, okay? And somehow making the act of giving all about you. That's why we talk about a Yin Yang Binary. Giving has that drop of getting. Getting has that drop of giving. Just a little bit, right? Because there is a difference between giving and receiving. There's just not an absolute difference. There's a little bit of one in the other, both times. Same thing with our next example, which is speaking and listening. Well, as you're speaking, you have to be listening for how you're being heard. You have to be listening and watching for the verbal and nonverbal cues of the other person, their posture, right? Their eye contact, everything about what they're doing, right? You can see someone shutting down or you can see someone opening up right in front of your eyes. Now, you're mostly focused on what you're saying if you're talking, but you've got that drop of listening even as you're speaking. Now, where's the drop of speaking even as you're listening? Not so obvious. When you're listening, you don't just sit there with your ears open. You do what's called active listening. But what is active listening? It doesn't mean you interrupt them and you say things and you clarify, which you could do. You could use your voice to repeat back to them, what I'm hearing is, and that can be a great way of helping them to be heard. You can do that. You can nod your head. You can say, go on. You can make eye contact, lift your eyebrows, sort of open your eyes wider, and speak in a way. That's a way of showing and speaking and offering a statement of interest, a statement of enthusiasm or curiosity or openness or receptivity or sensitivity. So that is the drop of speaking that goes into all listening. But there's also a completely silent kind where in your own mind you are engaging with the concepts they're saying. You're looking for the meaning. You're looking for where they're coming from emotionally. You're connecting the dots. You're searching yourself for your insights, all while you're still hearing them. But your head is not turning into a cacophony of what would you say, sort of data analytics on that person. You want that one drop of speaking inside of your listening. Now, one more. Actually, we got several more. We'll see how many we get through, but I think you're getting the idea. Tension and release. So I'll give you an example of, let's say, a physical exercise, because I think this is an easy one that most of us can understand, I hope. So let's take something like a yoga posture. If you've been to a yoga class, and I can relate this to weightlifting or to running or to swimming also, or to walking, but let's start with the yoga one. In every yoga pose, there's a point of exertion, and there's a point of passivity and rest. And the word yoga asana, what it really means is that An asana, a posture, a yoga posture is called an asana. Asana means a comfortable seat. A seat for whom precisely? See, it doesn't mean a pose. It doesn't mean a posture. It means a seat. The word asana means seat. They're not really yoga poses, they're yoga seats. But that's sort of opaque. Who knows what that means? There's a reason we don't talk about it like that. That would just be weird. But the word asana means seat. A seat for whom? A seat for the heart. A yoga pose is a comfortable seat for the heart. There's always a place of rest in the body. There's a place of passivity and relaxation, even as you're exerting yourself. You're in warrior one pose. Well, the obvious places of exertion would be your shoulders, you're holding your arms up, the pectoral muscles are engaged, the lateral muscles are used, the muscles around the thoracic spine are used, of course your quadriceps are being used. And then there's also that way that the chest is just lifted and the heart is just opened up and it's in a restful state. Whereas when you're slouching, your heart's actually compressed. So there's that drop of rest in the exertion, and then there's also that drop of exertion in rest. Because if you're in a sloppy, lazy kind of posture, you're actually straining your body a lot more than when you're engaging. You have to engage to a degree to find a real place of restfulness. When you're just careless about your body, then you're actually working it a lot harder in ways that do not strengthen it. You're actually debilitating it and draining it. So, what else we got here? I'll tell you one that is more of a general life lesson kind of binary, which is closer or further. You're always going to want to ask yourself, am I going towards where I want to go? Or am I going away from where I want to go? I think these are important questions. To be gauging yourself, okay, is this action taking me towards my goals or my dreams or my values or my ideals? Is it making me more of the person I want to be? Or is it taking me away from that? And that's easy enough as a straight up binary. But where's the drop in going further away in getting closer? And where's the drop in getting closer when you're going further away? Not so obvious, is it? The drop of getting further away as you go closer is that as you make effort, as you strain yourself, as you set your sights on things, you're searching, you're trying to become. And what's happening is that will take you farther away from just being yourself, having someone you're trying to be, that you want to be. Where you're not letting there's a drop of failing to just be yourself. And when you just let yourself go, and you just want to just be yourself and not try at all, and you're getting further away, well, what's that doing? Well, there's that drop of getting closer. Because that drop of getting closer is, well, that you could get tired of doing that you could get tired of how that's just not taking you anywhere worthwhile. It's not doing anything for you. You're drifting away, and what that's doing is that's what it is doing. It's setting you up with plenty of examples of what's not working about that. And you're learning what to do by doing the wrong thing. That's that drop of getting closer when you're going farther. Last one, because this is fun. Right and wrong. So I'm gonna explain this in a sexual way, because I think we all know what right and wrong means. It's fun to do something that feels good and that is right, with a little drop of wrong in it. And it's good to do something that is wrong with a little drop of what's good in it. And I will let you figure that out for yourself. Guys, it's been a pleasure. My name is Jasvinder, the Mindset Hacker. And we'll be back again soon.